Are you tired of constantly seeking approval from others? Have you spent most of your life trying to please everyone, only to find that the approval you crave always seems just out of reach? If you're in your 70s or beyond, it might be time to stop. The truth is that the desperate need for validation can become a heavy burden, holding you back from truly embracing who you are and what you want in life. But it doesn't have to be this way. In this video, we'll explore why letting go of the need for approval is one of the most liberating steps you can take as you age. You'll learn how this shift can open the door to authentic living, where you make decisions based on your values and desires, not the expectations of others. You'll also discover how moving past regret can free you from the shackles of your past mistakes and open the door to living fully in the present. Plus, we'll talk about the importance of recognizing and cutting ties with toxic relationships that drain your energy, so you can protect your peace and well-being. We'll dive deep into how fear of death can hold you back from living your best life, and why embracing it might make every moment more meaningful. And most importantly, we'll challenge the belief that change is impossible once you reach a certain age. Growth and transformation don't stop after 70. They can be the key to unlocking new opportunities, passions, and happiness. Stay with us until the end to learn how to live without regret, unnecessary fear, and the constant need for others' approval. This is your time to take control of your life, your happiness, and your future. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Find peace and happiness after 70. Throw away these 5 things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pause and reflect for a moment. Think about the things that weigh you down. What is it that holds you in place like an anchor to the past? What are the burdens, both seen and unseen, that have slowly woven themselves into the fabric of your daily life, stopping you from living with the peace and dignity you truly deserve? These burdens, these emotional weights, affect not only your mind but also your spirit. And the sad reality is that many of us carry them for too long after they've stopped serving us. As we reach the age of 70 and beyond, we've already lived through so much. We've built, we've loved, we've fought, and we've lost. But the time comes when we have to ask ourselves, what is it that I still need to carry with me? What is it that's holding me back from living fully in the present? The truth is, it's time to let go. Let go not just of the physical clutter, those worn-out clothes that no longer fit, the books gathering dust on the shelf that we've long stopped opening, or the trophies that remind us of accomplishments that belong to a different chapter in our lives. But more importantly, it's time to let go of the emotional baggage, the mental anchors, and the false obligations that keep us tied to an old version of ourselves. It's time to embrace the new chapters, the new possibilities. Here are 5 things you must throw away, not just from your home, but from your heart and mind, if you want to truly experience peace and happiness in the years ahead. It's not an easy task, but it is worth it. 1. The need for approval. From the moment we're born, we are instinctively conditioned to seek approval from those around us. Whether it's the warm smile of a parent, the encouraging word from a teacher, or the camaraderie of our peers, our sense of worth is often measured by the acceptance we receive from others. We learn early that our behavior, our words, and our actions must align with the expectations of the people in our lives. Over time, this conditioning seeps into our very core, becoming a reflex, a need we feel we must satisfy to feel safe, loved, and validated. But as the years go by, something insidious happens. The desire to be liked becomes all-consuming. Many of us find ourselves endlessly shaping our words, changing our actions, and even sacrificing our core values just to keep the peace. We suppress our true thoughts and desires to avoid conflict. We give in to demands even when they leave us emotionally drained, and we agree to things we do not want, simply to avoid the disapproval of others. By the time we reach our 70s, This relentless need for validation no longer serves us. It only weighs us down. The truth, which might have been hard to accept in earlier years, becomes glaringly evident. No matter how hard you try to be everything for everyone, someone will always find a reason to disapprove. It's an inescapable reality. People will judge you, misunderstand you, and often, they will project their insecurities onto you. It's heartbreaking, but true. Trying to mold yourself into what others expect of you is like chasing the horizon, an impossible, exhausting pursuit. The more you strive for approval, the further away it gets. And in the process, you lose sight of who you are, what you want, and what truly brings you joy. The desperate need to be liked by everyone? It's not a noble pursuit. It's a cage, one that keeps you locked inside, stifling your true self. It's a heavy burden, and it's one that you've been carrying for far too long. Letting go of this compulsion is not an act of rebellion or spite, but rather an act of profound self-love. It's about recognizing that your time, your energy, and your heart are finite, and they deserve to be invested in things and people that truly matter. It's about learning to speak your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about setting boundaries, unapologetically and without guilt, because you know deep down that you deserve peace. It's about making decisions that reflect what you truly value, rather than what others expect from you. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring or become indifferent to others. It simply means that you are no longer willing to sacrifice your authenticity for the fleeting approval of others. There may be resistance, and there may be judgment from those who've become accustomed to your people-pleasing ways, but that's their burden, not yours. You do not owe anyone continued compliance, especially not after a lifetime of living to please others. You've given enough of yourself to others. Now, it's time to give to yourself. Embrace the freedom of living for you, not for their approval. You've earned it. 2. Regret. Regret, oh, regret. It's a cruel, heavy chain that drags us backward, shackling us to a past that can no longer be changed. By the time you reach 70, you've likely walked through a lifetime filled with a kaleidoscope of emotions. Joy that lights up your soul, success that fills you with pride, failure that shakes you to the core, disappointment that lingers like a shadow, and loss that leaves an ache you might carry forever. It's only human to look back, to wish some things had gone differently, to wonder what life could have been had certain decisions turned out another way. But here's the painful truth. Dwelling on regret is like fighting a battle against time itself, one that you can never win. The past is set in stone, unmovable, unreachable. All that remains, all we truly have, is how we choose to understand and carry that past into the present. Regret is a silent poison that seeps into the now, transforming our once beautiful memories into burdens too heavy to bear. It doesn't allow us to move forward, trapping us in an endless loop of what-ifs and should-have been. We replay mistakes over and over, torturing ourselves with imagined alternate realities. But let's face it, every person, every single soul who's walked this earth, has made mistakes. Big ones, small ones, some that seemed impossible to fix. It's part of the journey. The problem isn't that we've made mistakes. It's when we get stuck in them, as if the clock can somehow be turned back, as if the damage can somehow be undone. We cannot undo what has been done, but we can choose what we do next. That, my friends, is the power we still hold. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And perhaps the hardest truth to face is the need for forgiveness, especially the forgiveness we must show ourselves. We are so often harsher on ourselves than we would ever be on a friend. Imagine a close friend confiding in you, burdened with regret. Would you judge them with the same cruelty that you judge yourself? Of course not. You would offer them kindness, understanding, and love, just as they deserve. And so, shouldn't you give yourself the same grace? True responsibility isn't about punishing yourself for past wrongs. It's about looking at your past, acknowledging it for what it was, making peace with the hurt, and then deciding to move forward with love, with joy, with purpose. That is the key to healing, to finding freedom, and to finally letting go. We owe it to ourselves to live well in the present, with the fullness of who we are now, not who we once were. 3. Toxic relationships. At the age of 70, a powerful realization begins to settle in. You start to see clearly which relationships lift your spirit and which ones drain you. There's a sense of emotional clarity that comes with age. Relationships that provide warmth, unwavering support, and genuine encouragement become the ones you cherish and nurture. But sadly, some take a toll on your energy, those that seem to suck the very life force out of you, leaving nothing but negativity, stress, and a sense of emotional exhaustion. These toxic relationships are not just a nuisance. They can be a silent killer of your joy and well-being. Letting go of these toxic relationships should never be viewed as an act of cruelty. On the contrary, it is an act of profound self-respect. It is about choosing yourself, your happiness, and your peace over the fear of disappointing someone who has long overstayed their welcome in your life. Toxic relationships take many forms. They might come in the shape of manipulation through guilt, constant criticism that wears away at your self-worth, or people who take advantage of your kindness and generosity without ever giving anything meaningful in return. The harsh truth is that people often hold onto these toxic bonds out of a misplaced sense of obligation. They cling to the past, the history of shared experiences, thinking that the passage of time justifies enduring mistreatment or negativity. But I've come to learn that history doesn't justify misery. And no amount of nostalgia can make you feel whole again when someone's presence only fills your heart with anger, stress, or bone-deep exhaustion. There's a sense of freedom, a deep breath of relief when toxic people are removed from your life. The space they leave behind is not an emptiness, but rather an opening, an opportunity for healthier, more nurturing relationships to take root and flourish. The absence of these toxic individuals isn't a loss. It's the beginning of something far greater. It's a step toward a lighter, freer, and infinitely more fulfilling life. I've realized that it is not only okay to let go of people who no longer serve you, it's essential. Protect your peace, because, in the end, your well-being is the most precious thing you have. 4. Fear of death. Death, the one certainty that we cannot escape, is often something we avoid thinking about. It's far too easy to push it to the back of our minds, to pretend as if it's something that happens to other people, not to us. We fool ourselves into believing that death is a distant event, something that won't touch us for a long time, something we can avoid thinking about for as long as possible. But the truth is, as we grow older, particularly after the age of 70, that comforting illusion starts to fade. Later no longer feels like a far-off concept. Instead, it becomes tangible, real, and undeniable. The time we thought was endless starts to feel precious, fleeting, and all too limited. The stark reality is that after 70, death feels closer than ever before, and the weight of this awareness can be overwhelming. But here's where we often go wrong. In that awareness of death, we become consumed by fear. The fear of death takes root in our hearts and minds, leading us to constantly dwell on the end of our lives rather than fully embracing the time we have left. It's natural to fear the unknown. The fear of not knowing what will happen to us when we take our last breath can make us feel helpless and anxious. We are frightened not by the actual event of death itself, but by what comes after it. Will we be remembered? Will there be life beyond? Is there something more waiting for us on the other side? Or is it all just a quiet nothingness? These are questions that tug at the very essence of our being, and it's these questions that often paralyze us with fear. However, trying to fight against death, resisting it with every ounce of our being does not make it go away. No matter how much we try to deny it, we are not in control of this inevitable part of life. Death will come when it comes, whether we are ready or not. The mistake lies in believing that by avoiding or rejecting it, we can somehow stop it. But life, in all its fullness and beauty, is not about avoiding death. It's about embracing the life we have while we have it. It's about realizing that the fear we hold within us isn't really about death itself, but about the uncertainty of what follows. The unknown. the fear of the what-ifs. So, instead of continuing to fear the unknown and all the questions we cannot answer, we can choose to embrace the certainty of the present moment. The truth is that the only thing we can truly count on is what we have now, this very moment, this breath, this second. The present is where life unfolds, where memories are made, where love is shared, and where joy is found. It is in the now that we find meaning. When we begin to let go of the weight of the future and stop letting our worries about death steal our peace, we open ourselves up to the richness of the life we're living right now. The moments we have, even the small, mundane moments, become precious when we realize how quickly they can slip away. This isn't to say we should live in fear or obsession with death, nor is it an invitation to wallow in despair over the inevitability of it all. Instead of remembering that death is inevitable, we are encouraged to live life with a deeper sense of purpose, awareness, and gratitude. Reflecting on death isn't morbid, as many might think. Rather, it can be an act of liberation. When we remember that life is finite, we start to let go of the things that don't matter. We stop chasing external validation, the constant need for approval, and the meaningless accumulation of possessions or status. None of these things will follow us when we leave this world. Instead, what we take with us is the love we've shared, the relationships we've nurtured, and the memories we've created. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. By accepting the reality of death, we can truly start to live without regret. We begin to prioritize what matters most, our relationships, our peace of mind, and the moments of joy we find in simple pleasures. We learn to savor our time with loved ones, knowing that time is the one thing we can never get back. We cherish every conversation, every smile, every moment of connection. The little things, which once might have seemed insignificant, take on a deeper, more profound meaning. The scent of a favorite flower, the sound of a loved one's laugh, the warmth of a hand held in comfort, all of these things become treasures. Death should not be feared but rather accepted. In accepting it, we accept that we have limited time, which, in turn, encourages us to live with intention. Life is too short to spend it in fear of something we cannot change. Death will come, yes, but it's what we do in the time before it arrives that truly defines our lives. When we live in awareness of our mortality, we are encouraged to live fully, authentically, and without regret. Instead of being haunted by what lies ahead, we can face each day with a heart full of gratitude, open to the beauty that exists all around us. The more we accept death as part of the cycle of life, the more we can live without fear, embracing each moment with open arms. 5. The belief that change is impossible. There's this deeply ingrained belief that once you reach the age of 70, change becomes an impossibility. It's as though time locks us into certain versions of ourselves, and the notion of transformation seems too daunting or unrealistic. But let me tell you something. I firmly believe that growth doesn't halt because of age. The mind, the heart, and the spirit are all wonderfully resilient and capable of transformation, no matter how many years we've lived. The idea that age defines your ability to learn, evolve, or completely reinvent who you are is one of the most limiting myths we tell ourselves. When we look closely, we see countless examples of individuals who have redefined their lives in their later years. They've discovered new passions, pursued entirely new careers, and even embraced relationships that brought them newfound joy. It's a testament to the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. You're never too old to learn, to grow, or to shed the layers that no longer serve you. Yes, change can be uncomfortable. It's a hard truth that not everyone is willing to accept. But let's be real here. Comfort doesn't always equal happiness. Often, comfort means settling for less than we deserve, staying stuck in old, tired patterns that drain our energy, or holding on to relationships that no longer add value. I've seen too many people with so much to offer, trapped in outdated fears, unsure how to move forward. But when we allow ourselves to recognize that change is not just possible but inevitable, we reclaim control over how we live our remaining years. And here's the thing. Change is not something that just happens to us, it's a choice. It's a conscious decision we make every single day to live life with intention and excitement. Those who embrace change don't just exist, they thrive. They find that life remains an incredible adventure, full of discoveries and exhilarating experiences. And in that, there's an energy that doesn't fade with age but intensifies, lighting up every new chapter with a promise of possibility. So, what have we learned today? We've explored the idea that change is not only possible at any age, but that it is, in fact, essential for our continued growth and happiness. We've discovered that no matter where we are in life, we can reinvent ourselves, pursue new passions, and step into the future with excitement and purpose. Age should never be a barrier to transformation. Instead, it should be a reminder that we have the wisdom and the strength to create the life we truly want, no matter how many years we've lived. Now, I want to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned from this video that you're going to bring into your life? Is it the courage to embrace change, or the understanding that growth has no age limit? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content just like this. We're here to help you live a vibrant, fulfilling life together.